Look at that number for a second. Just sit with it. Not the gross, the net. The one that actually hits your account. The one that's already smaller than what you told yourself you made this month.
You're 29, old enough to feel like you should have this figured out by now, young enough to still believe you might.
You worked for that. You traded actual hours of your actual life. Mornings you could have slept in, evenings you could have spent with people you love, for that number. And in about 3 days, it'll be gone. Rent, car payment, the grocery run where you'll stand in the cereal aisle for a full minute debating if the kids really need the name brand stuff this month.
Quick one. This is just part 1, so yeah, make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss the full story. All right, let's continue.
You've been told this is how it works. Earn, spend, repeat. Try to earn a little more so you can spend a little less anxiously. If you can just get the raise, the promotion, the thing that keeps you up until 2 a.m. editing videos or packing orders, you'll finally feel the ground underneath you. But what if I told you there's a completely different game being played? Same board, same pieces, completely different rules. And the people winning that game aren't smarter than you. They're not working harder than you. They just know one thing you were never told. One piece of architecture that changes everything once you see it. The IRS only gets paid when you sell. Everything else, the borrowing, the holding, the passing it on, flows from that one quiet, elegant fact. So let me show you what it actually feels like to stop being a seller. Let me walk you through the rooms I've walked through, from the parking lot all the way up. Because this isn't a lecture, this is the map. And it starts with a sound you know by heart. Stage 1, the parking lot. The car has been making the noise for 3 weeks. You know the one. Clunk, clunk, clunk when you turn left. You've been taking right turns that are way too wide, hoping it's just a quirk, a personality trait, a thing that'll go away if you ignore it hard enough. It doesn't go away. The mechanic calls. It's the transmission. Of course it's the transmission. And the number on that estimate is almost exactly the number you've been guarding in your savings account like a dragon hoarding gold. $2,000. The thin, fraying membrane between you and the credit card with the 24% interest rate that you swear you'll never carry a balance on again. So you do the only thing that feels possible. You open the app on your phone. You remember you bought a handful of Apple shares back during the pandemic when you were bored and hopeful, and the world felt like it might end anyway, so why not? You bought at $120. They're at $190. You're up about $700. Not life-changing, but it'll cover the deductible. It'll get the car fixed. You hit sell. The screen confirms it. Done. The car will run again. That's what matters. You sit there for a minute, engine off, the repair estimate on the passenger seat. There's a small, quiet weight in your chest you can't quite name. Maybe it's just the stress of the week. Maybe it's the fact that you worked so hard to build that little pile, and now it's gone again. You shake it off. You've got to get to work. I want to pause here for a second, because what you just did, that tiny, unremarkable Tuesday afternoon tap on a glass screen, that's the thing the people who own the board spend their entire lives not doing. You created a taxable event. Short-term capital gains taxed as ordinary income, federal, state. Next April, you'll get a 999B in the mail. You'll have forgotten about this moment. It was just a Tuesday. You were just trying to get to work. But the IRS didn't forget, and you'll owe them money for the privilege of fixing your own car. And somewhere in a room you've never seen, someone is looking at this exact transaction and thinking something completely different. They're not thinking about the car. They're thinking about what that Apple stock could have become if you just let it sit there for 20 years. But we'll get to that. Right now, you're just trying to get to Friday. Stage 2, the call that changes the language. Time passes. A few years slip by. You're 32 now, maybe 33. The kind of age where you stop counting the candles and start counting the progress. You did the grinding, unglamorous, nobody claps for you work. You've got what the personal finance writers call grocery store freedom. You can grab the organic eggs without flinching, maybe the fancy cheese that comes wrapped in paper. It's a small thing, but small things, as you're starting to learn, compound. And you've built a small pile. Not Instagram wealth, not I quit my job to trade options wealth, just a quiet, growing number that's starting to feel like solid ground. 50,000, 70,000. Yours. Something has shifted inside you. You might not even have named it yet. You've stopped trading and started acquiring. You're feeding the sourdough starter, but never baking the bread, letting it grow. And then life happens again. But this time, it's not a broken transmission. It's an opportunity, a little duplex in a neighborhood that's starting to hum. You've been watching it for months. You know it's the move. You need $25,000 for the down payment. Old you, the one from the parking lot, would have opened the app and hit sell, paid the tax, moved on. But new you has a different thought. It feels strange at first, almost like you're doing something you're not supposed to. You pick up the phone and call the number on the brokerage statement. A real human voice answers. Hi, I have a portfolio. It's not huge, but I need some cash and I really don't want to sell my positions. Is that a thing? And here's the wild part. The person on the other end doesn't laugh. They don't say, "Sir, this is a Wendy's." You can hear it in their voice. They lean forward. This is literally what they do all day. That's actually really smart, she says. Let's talk about a securities-backed line of credit. We call it an SB lock. And she explains it, calmly, like she's told 100 people this week. Your portfolio is collateral. It's not just numbers on a screen anymore. It's an asset that can generate cash without ever being turned into cash. They'll loan you a percentage of its value, usually 50 to 70%, depending on what you hold. You don't sell a single share. The stocks stay right where they are, hopefully growing, paying dividends, doing their quiet compounding thing. The interest rate? It floats, tied to something called SOFR plus a margin. You'll pay somewhere between 6 and 9%. Often it's interest only. You can pay down the principal when you want, or never, as long as the portfolio holds its value and you keep the line open. You sign a few papers, a week passes, maybe 2, then one morning you open the app and the money's there. Taxable event? 0. You didn't sell the stock, you just used it as a key to unlock a door. You take that $25,000 and you buy the duplex. Now stop for a second and look at what you just did. You have 2 assets working for you. The stock portfolio is still there, untouched, compounding, and the rental property is generating cash flow. Rent checks, tenants paying down the mortgage, a building that in any luck appreciates over time. And that interest you're paying on the SB lock, here's a little bonus layer. If you're using borrowed money for an investment like that rental property, the interest might be tax deductible. Talk to a CPA. I'm not one, but the architecture is there. It's been there the whole time. Standing in that driveway, looking at that duplex you now own, paint on your hands, probably should have eaten dinner 2 hours ago, a little tired, a little wired. You feel something you haven't felt in a long time. It's not happiness exactly, it's more quieter, more durable. It's the feeling of the ground underneath you finally starting to feel solid. And here's what you're becoming, whether you've named it or not. Not a seller, a holder. Not someone who liquidates, someone who stewards.
Part 2 drops soon, so yeah, make sure you're subscribed. You don't want to miss the rest of the story.